And hello again, welcome back to the Japan Game Junk podcast. Indeed, we're going to get into another store in Yachiyo City of Chiba, visited on the 14th of April, 2024. This time, though, not a hard-off store, but rather a Kanteidan store. Now, a Kanteidan store is, in Japanese, a Kanteidan is like auction house, but here it's no auction, it's just a general used store that has lots and lots of interesting stuff. They usually specialize in used books, media, clothes, and sometimes things like appliances, kitchen gadgets, things like that. They might also have things like, gift certificates where you get, your birthday gift certificate is 10,000 yen to McDonald's, and you don't like McDonald's, so you'll sell your tickets there for 9,000 yen, and they'll sell it on for 9,500 yen. Stuff like that, So this time, it is a Kanteidan, a store that haven't had much luck with in the past, but does have a few reasons. There are a few reasons to go there and to enjoy. This one is the Chiba Kanteidan, this one in Yachiyo City. So there are many Kanteidan chains. The most popular, I believe, would be Mandai Shoten, which is headquartered in Yamanashi but has branches all over eastern Japan. And there is the Guru Kanteidan, and that is all over Kanto area in the Tokyo area of Japan. This one, though, Chiba Kanteidan, strangely, all over Chiba Prefecture, and then one in Ibaraki, in Kamisu City, and that one is just branded as Ibaraki Kanteidan. But really it's the same chain as the Chiba Kanteidan stores. This one is, as always, I visited by car, but this one is about a 20-minute walk from Katsudarai Station, if that's your thing. But yeah, there are a few reasons why people might want to go here. Not many items to talk about, but I will do my best to explain some oddities or interests that might be good. First thing to note is that this store, I believe, as far as having a large selection of them, has the largest selection of Game Boy systems that are fairly priced. That's Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Light, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Advance SP. Basically, if it was a Game Boy release, then indeed it is kind of on the fair price for the condition here at this store. Most places, they are, in my opinion, kind of overpricing them these days. So, anyway, onto the other hardware notes. Lately, for some reason, the GameCube keyboard controller, which was used in Japan for Phantasy Star Online, super expensive. I used to be able to find them all the time for about 100 yen in the junk section of stores, and now they're for some reason they're getting very popular abroad as an oddity, and so now they're being sold for way too much money. So at least for now, they're kind of out of the price range for a lot of people who just want it for their collection. But there is another one that is not so well known in the West, might be worth picking up in case it meets the same fate, and that is a PlayStation 2 keyboard controller. Now, of course, the PlayStation 2 does have USB ports as well, so it does have that, that kind of, if you want to use a keyboard with the PS2, it's not too hard, is it? But for people who want to have the controller and keyboard hybrid, this is available. It was made by Logitech. And there is a boxed version in great condition at this Kanteidan Yachiyo store for 1,980 yen. I personally don't really want to have it, even if it does skyrocket in cost, but if you want to give it a shot, then there you go. There it is. And in fact, I believe it's a bit on the rarer side compared to the Nintendo controller, so who knows, maybe that will become a find in the future. Next up, they have lots of software there, very little in the way of real retro stuff, as in non-Nintendo, and it's just rarer stuff, Nintendo Famicom games are, of course, older than these, but, they don't really have PC Engine or 3DO or, Neo Geo stuff so much. It's mostly PlayStation and Nintendo products. But they did have, randomly, 5 complete DS games, all in the box, all complete, ready to go. Combination of DS and 3DS. 5 wrapped up together in cellophane for 1,000 yen. So Some of them are not the typical 100 yen junk games that you'll find. some of them were actually fairly decent titles. So if you go there, and either if you want to build up a collection of games you don't have, or if you find a game that you want for 1,000 yen and you get 4 free ones, you can think of it that way too. But yeah, that was a pretty good. They had stacks of these things, so that's a pretty good find, perhaps, for some people. Also, what was most interesting to me was that they had the, like, you know how when you pre-order a game, it comes with, like, you know, a soundtrack or an art book or something? Well, I guess they had a lot of these left over, and they have this huge section on this bookshelf where you have, all these soundtracks and all these art books and all these making of discs and DVDs and stuff, all this stuff. And it was, and all of them were 100 yen. And that's pretty good. So I got a couple of soundtracks for recent games and a nice little art book with some well-drawn female characters in it. I don't even know what game it was, just I liked the art style, you know. 100 yen each, very nice. An oddity that I wanted to share a bit, I'll put at the end from the DS, but there was I'll share more about it at the end, but Driving School DS, 980 yen. So, software to help you pass your driving test in Japan for that price. The last game I'll mention is the Hango Shashin for Saturn, which I had never seen before, and it was disc only for 980 yen. And I checked online, and it's really weird. It's like you're a detective, I think, and you take pictures of murdered high school girls, and it's 18 and up only, but only for graphic violence as opposed to sexual stuff. And I'd never seen it before. It looks like a weird kind of simulation game for the Saturn, so I checked online, and it was the cheapest that's ever been for sale, so I bought it. So now one day soon I will be doing the Hango Shashin game for the YouTube channel. Now, Driving School DS, the reason why I did bring it up is it's good advice for people who wish to come live and work in Japan. I don't know if I've mentioned this before on the YouTube channel or on here, but definitely you want to get your driver's license and have it for at least 6 months before moving to Japan, because the driving license test is no joke. And if you don't have that license, not only is it no joke as far as to pass it, it's no joke to pay to pass it, because you're required to go to a driving school in Japan. In Japan, driving school costs about the equivalent of, well, currently the yen's pretty weak, so about $2,000 US, but usually it's more closer to 3,000. And it is an intensive course. Basically, if you don't have a way to get a license abroad, if you're Japanese, you got to go through it. And it is rigorous. It is difficult. I knew someone before who really wanted to get a license, but she actually quit the driving school after the day one because it was so stressful. The driving teacher was so strict with her. Maybe almost like a military boot camp, who knows, but just to learn how to drive. But in order to get your license, you need to do many things that don't seem natural. When you go to a hill, for example, you get to the top of the hill, before you get to the top, you honk the horn, and then you keep going to go to the top of the hill to make sure that anyone who's on the other side does not come over and hit you, and likewise, you also do not hit them. There are a lot of especially in the rural areas, a lot of one-lane roads, and so I can see why that's important. But you go up there, you listen. If there's no honking of the horn, then you don't back up, and you honk your horn, and then you wait a second, and you go forward. Stuff like that, stuff that you would not think to know unless you went to school for it. So it's no easy feat to get your license in Japan. Most people do fail a couple, 2 or 3 times, but hopefully you won't need to if you get your license abroad and then come to Japan, and then you, like me, are a wonderful driver and enjoy your driving lifestyle. But if you didn't, and you need to pass your test, go to the Yachiyo Kanteidan, Chiba Kanteidan store and get the driving school for the DS system software, and learn to drive. Anyway, it is very highly recommended to go to these stores, any Kanteidan store, because you might find stuff there that you just happens to show up. This is where I got the Wario's Woods game that was new in box for a very cheap price a couple years ago. So definitely worth seeing. Enjoy your Kanteidans, this one being Yachiyo, and yeah, I don't know how to end this, so I think I'll just hit the stop button.